Yeah. So vandaag continuing with the quest. Yeah, so I didn't check if the releases is up. Yeah. Yeah. Eva. Oh, when I say Eva, I mean wait for a minute. Like that just means that means Eva. Eva. That means wait a minute means wait a minute in Dutch means Eva. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's continue with the quests. Well, even I first counted this.
So, are you all set? Ready to start investigating?
Yes, I am. We're all good.
Great! Let's go! I've delivered packages all over, but I've never seen a mysterious fairy tale world like this before.
Same.
Looks like nobody has gotten around to repairing this house yet. Ugh, even I wouldn't dare to sleep in there. It might suddenly collapse in on you.
Yeah, would definitely collapse.
Or maybe we can find someone to ask?
I'm all good.
Aha! Over there! I bet we'll find some people there. Let's go take a look.
Right behind you.
You want to check out the area over there? Okay, I'll wait here for you.
Sure, I wouldn't mind checking it out. Don't I really came here and couldn't find anything? My memory says me like I came here and I can't really find it what I was looking for. No, I'm good.
Ooh, maybe I could curl up inside this box.
Yes, I am playing on a potato laptop. My laptop isn't the best. But welcome to the stream. Let's do 8-0.
Huh? I was sure there'd be people here.
That seems
There
abandoned.
once was a goddess who ruled over fate. Before she died, she left 3 riddles for the kingdom she had created.
What are the riddles?
What? Who said that?
Long story short, on this day, a sentient feline, an outlander, and a diminutive pixie arrived on the scene.
Physical script.
They saw a narrow path off to the side.
Okay, but which side? Yeah, if you gave ambiguous instructions like that to a Komania Express courier, they'd give you the parcel right back and tell you to write the delivery address more clearly.
Despite how obvious the answer was, the perplexed pixie and the flummoxed feline struggled to work it out. Although perhaps a small part of the blame could be attributed to my dull narration.
Maybe.
All right, let's try this again. The path on the left-hand side seemed to give off an enticing fragrance, as if to say, this is the way to wealth and glory.
Ooh, that sounds like the start of a good story. Then what? Then what?
Aw, that's so cute.
At the end of the path, the motley crew would soon spot a secret stone room. A prophecy had once foretold of a marquis who shall one day venture inside, and thus it is named the future marquis's abode to be. You like it? The future marquis's abode to be? Got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
That was a little bit boastful.
But before you continue, I must warn you of the danger that lies ahead. For example, under no circumstances should you sit on the chair in the centre.
Okay.
Otherwise, the consequences could be a bit embarrassing.
I went the wrong way. Ooh, I didn't even notice there was another underground to this.
So many summers, winters, springs, and falls, and now at last a hero hither strides.
This realm knows not what lies beyond its walls. Its secrets mystify the world outside.
Wait, new voices. Who are they?
That's what we're trying to figure out, Paimon. Well, like the water is very shiny.
With wood and earthenware strewn all around, the demon feline's fury can't be quelled. Reducing them to rubble on the ground, she finds the vessel's vacant save for, air?
She finds long gone the chills that once they held.
Are they describing how we broke the boxes and jars? Who are you calling demon feline?
Oh, my
Captivated by the epic poetry and enthralled by the outstanding storytelling, the Outlanders knew what their next objective was.
I didn't read it because I.
Namely, to remove the clockwork key from the raised platform up ahead.
Cafe, I just realized. You said we all had to speak like bards, but every time you open up your mouth, I don't hear any rhymes.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's one standard for us and another for you. That's not fair, Cafe. With wood and earthenware strewn all around, the demon
Yeah.
feline's fury can't be quelled, reducing them to rubble on the ground. No, you don't. I wrote that line. Don't start plagiarizing me just because you can't take a bit of criticism. Look, let's not put form over content here. It's not about the rhymes. It's about making sure the Outlanders focus on the clockwork key on that platform.
Yeah, I'm
I
coming.
told you already. Stop calling me demon feline.
So it only happens when she does it, right?
Strong as stone, firm as steel, the Outlander pulls, but it does not yield.
This has happened many times before, but this time is different. A thought enters the Outlander's mind. Attack! Attack! First weaken the structure, then seize the treasure.
The attack now over, only one final step remains.
Now it is the time to seize the key.
Yes! Finally! Come on, move your butts and your legs, assuming they're still in working order. It's showtime!
No hard feelings about your lack of poetic contributions?
Oh, let it go!
Hey.
Welcome, esteemed and noble Outlander. Allow us to introduce ourselves.
be right back. Back.
We represent the 3 great clans of this realm, having been selected as its authorized historical supervisors.
Oh, really? So you guys,
Our purpose being to await the arrival of one such as yourselves, who shall remove the clockwork key.
and I did that.
My name is...
Gabet.
You're Cape, he's Albizzi, and that's Bobarano, right? You've done so much talking that we can already tell you apart by your voices.
Aren't we missing someone, though? The guy who led us here to begin with?
Who?
And thus was born the long-awaited fellowship, destined to uncover the truth of the past. Allow me to quote, if I may, in the history of Constellation Metropole, a new page has begun.
Him.
Well, there's no fourth person, so which of you is the ventriloquist? Come on, out with it.
We've never heard that voice before. But he sounds like he'd be good at reading bedtime stories to children.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I don't know and I don't care. Forget about him. We have far more important things to focus on. Like, where our journey goes from here. That key you hold is the pivot point about which the past and present of the Metropole revolve. However, between our 3 clans, there is some dispute over the historical record.
Why?
Each clan has its own version of history, detailing the clan's origins and the tale of the dragon of old. And unfortunately, we don't know which one is the truth.
Hmm.
Dragon? You mean the one that's been acting up recently?
Oh, no, not that one, you adorable little pixie. When I say dragon of old,
He means a dragon that would be really, really old if it was still with us today, but it was defeated in ancient times. The new one has nothing to do with our clan history.
Hmm.
Was that supposed to be a show? Anyway, so you've been waiting for someone to remove the keys so you can finally explore the truth of the past?
not just explore it, but argue incessantly about it. Honestly, I don't care that much. Cape's the one who's always bothering us about it.
What we need to figure out is who resolved the dragon crisis. We have to know that before we can decide which is the supreme clan.
Oh, so it's because it was better than the other.
The moment you removed the key from where it was lodged, you became the honorary Marquis. We humbly beseech you, noble outlander,
Mommy Christy.
noble traveler Marquis, we ask you to help us. You and your talking Puss in Boots and the pale floating pixie.
Puss in Boots? Are you serious? It's better than Demon Feline, but still.
Embrace it, my friend, embrace it. Most cats don't wear boots or speak, do they?
I'm not even a cat. I'm a Nekomata. Now that you know the word, I expect you to use it.
Please allow me to lead you all to a sacred memorial site. It will be much easier to explain what needs to be done once we are there.
Lead the way. Cabot leads the party to the so-called secret memorial site.
This place is sacred to my clan. It's where our brave forefathers once took up arms against the dragon of old. After a bitter battle that dragged on for many days and nights, finally, our forefathers fought the dragon into submission, and it fled. They took turns then. Some forefathers worked the day shift, while others worked the night shift.
So they work shift while the poor dragon had to work around the clock.
So they say. It's just a legend, though.
Wait a second? Did I just hear you admit that your clan's history is just a legend?
History, legend, who cares? names. My clan was definitely courageous, that's the point. That's the truth. And isn't the truth what we've all been arguing about non-stop for all these years?
Capet's words gave the traveller food for thought. Could it be that the truth in a fictional world is equivalent to fiction in the real world? But that would have to wait. Apparently, Capet was not alone in his pilgrimage to this sacred site. Unwanted company had arrived. The traveller and the talking cat, Nekomata, decided to teach them some manners.
My body is built.
Ah, yeah. Feeling lucky? Phew. Ah.
Wow. A true display of heroism and valor. It was as if the spirits of my ancestors were fighting through you.
Here's a thought. Could be wrong, but maybe the Traveler Marquis is a lot more powerful than your ancestors.
Well, technically, by saying that, aren't you implicitly acknowledging that my clan's history is, in fact, true?
Ha-na! Ha-na! Ha! Yeah! Ah! Oh!
Ah, coming at ya.
Your martial prowess and show of courage are a more vivid reenactment of my ancestors' feats that suit the modern aesthetic.
Yeah.
Now, let's get down to business. As we all know, time is but an illusion. Time may flow line by line, page by page, or frame by frame, but usually it flows in the form of springs and gears.
And that clockwork key you have in your hand can turn back time and make the past reappear.
That's very
Well,
cool.
actually, my view is that the illusion of time is more of a problem of consciousness. Gears power the body, while the body is the vessel of the conscious mind.
Hmm.
But the mind cannot understand the dimension of time, so we experience instead an endless continuum of moments as the pinion of now turns along the rack of ages.
I'm getting flashbacks to when I was delivering packages to the Sumeru Academia.
A teacher once asked Albizzi what his greatest fear was, and he replied, dragons. Bogarano was asked the same question. He replied, time, and repeated the argument we just heard. The teacher then turned to Capet and posed the same question. He replied, Bogarano.
The manuscript that tells the truth of the historical record, the blueprint to all of creation, the work of the great mage themselves. It can be found at the beginning of the Girak, and on the very first page of the book.
Hmm.
Paimon didn't follow all that, but basically, you're just saying that we need to put the key in and turn it all the way back?
Exactly. It is said that in the beginning, the goddess of creation took the goddess of fate's manuscript as a blueprint, placed it under the goddess of prophecy's starry realm, and generated the world from a few magic arrays.
Hmm.
So in a few moments, when the great clockwork key turns the local time here back to the very beginning, we will restore the magic arrays back to their original configurations.
Oh, hold on. Isn't stealing part of the blueprint of creation a little dangerous? Also, how are we supposed to know the original configurations of the magic arrays?
Fair. A good point.
Well, the general shapes of the configurations have been passed down over the ages. They now form the family crests of each of our clans. So you'll just need to reference my family crest and join the dots accordingly.
zone and Z. God.
To address your other
If I make
concern,
some mistakes with
when the house has
English,
already been built,
English
do
is
you
not my
really think that
first
taking away
language,
the
so I
construction
might
crew
make
and
a
blueprint will
couple of
cause it to
mistakes.
collapse?
The Traveller Marquis prepares to insert the great clockwork key into the nearby keyhole.
The time has come to slay the dragon. How are you feeling? Nervous? I'm curious to see what this end of the world place is like. Come on, let's go meet the others at the station.
One moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess we should start here?
Why don't you give it another try? Truth always has a limited scope, and so do right and wrong. Perhaps you had the right answer, but the wrong question. Keep trying. Truth always has a limited scope, and so do right and wrong. Perhaps you had the right answer, but to the wrong question. Keep trying.
That took a little too long than needed to be.
Behold, the sacred writings that record the truth of... Note, that have shaped the truth of history. Gather round and let us bear witness.
Of sheep. I thought you said shit. Rita said shit. God is manuscript. Brave, brave Frankos mounted the hedgehog, picked up the fork, and planted his tiny stone atop the mountain of glass. Behind him was a large bright moon. He shouted out the names of everyone in the village. The village jeep was the first to be named, and so frightened was he that he wished to climb up the haystack and haystack and to stop up Franco's mouth. Are you crazy? You are yelling so loudly the dragon might show up. You good for nothing. Have you not seen how the windmill everyone built has been destroyed by a dragon? And there you are, really willing if it really done. Francisco really would have loved to kick him off the haystack, but held back given that the chief zoo was built for his village's safety. Franco saw that night all the villagers had alive, and so he cleared his throat. Dear neighbors and kin, think you still that we must endure this? No, of course not, but we cannot do anything about the dragon, said the Glossier. Who says so? Did I not leap onto its neck from the mere blades, stepping on it twice, and did it not fall down and free? Perhaps everyone worked so hard to build the mill. It was the sort everyone's emotions became inflamed. Lifting their fists, they decided to take down the dragon. But Franco lifted his own hands and calmed the clown. Let us go home for the day. Everyone. Every pleasant lack of self-preservation is not bravery, but rather wrath. If we, if we yet desire to face danger after coming ourselves, only then may we truthfully call our sentiment further. So everyone went home. Sorry if it's so choppy. English is not my first language, and reading aloud is also not something I'm good at. So definitely a language I'm not familiar with. The next day, there were still many youngsters who wished to follow Franco to take down the wicked dragon. Who would have known that the varied process of protection of the goddess radiant castle in college through valor encouraged through valor. The dragon could neither spout fire nor slash with fangs, and was forced to allow the other party to cut bosses and switch personnel. And so, after several days and nights of fierce fighting, the wicked director could no longer bear it and chose to surrender. Sign AA.
Feast your eyes, rejoice, and cheer, for this is the unquestionable truth. Look at the signature. Nobody is capable of forging that.
I don't believe it. So, all along, our histories have been false?
Don't lose heart, Albizzi. It does not follow from his is true that ours are false.
That might be the most bogus logic I've ever heard. But keep up the mental gymnastics, Boberano. Been waiting for that look of jealousy on your face my whole life, and I'm gonna savor it.
And yet, it seemed that this conundrum could indeed have more than one solution. Everyone agreed that there may be more than one truth. The party decided to visit the sacred sites of the other clans and see what their documents had to say.
Isn't a narrator supposed to remain detached and objective? It feels like you're forcing a narrative agenda on us here. Oh, whatever. I'm in a good mood. Let's do it. The instructions say to repeat the process 3 times, and besides, I'm looking forward to watching you both be sorely disappointed.
Everybody's story is gonna be true, isn't it?
Let's do my clan next. I'll lead the way.
We'll need the key again, right? Let me see if I can pull it out. Yoink!
Yeah. I will be right. Continue with that. I'm just gonna be. I know it said not to sit on the middle seat, but I'm gonna sit on the middle seat. There's nothing. There's something here, but I. Oh, whatever. Is it stuck? Like, tell me if it's stuck because I wouldn't know. It might be stuck. I'm sorry if it's stuck.
All right, this'll do.
Mm, Thank you.
All right, this'll do.
The party finds no pedestal in which to place the great clockwork key, only a locked door.
Where's your client's pedestal? Let me guess, you hid it away in advance to save yourself the embarrassment of having it exposed as a fake?
You done? Okay. Now, since my clan's main claim to fame is...
Misinformation, half-truths, and fabrication.
Ah, shut up, Cafe.
Shut up, Cat I swear, if I wind up dead one day, the murderer was Bobarana. Let those be my last words.
My clan's claim to fame is that we outwitted the dragon of old and stole its treasure. Ergo, all articles of value that we own, including the pedestal for the clockwork key, lie behind that door.
Okay.
So, next step is open the door?
Almost. There's one step before that. The door is protected by a smart interrogation system. We have to answer its questions, and if we get them wrong, we will alert law enforcement.
Jeez. Well, do you at least know the answers?
The correction fluid of time has dyed white the pages of the Book of Wisdom. No, I don't know the answers. But worry
Well,
not.
it's
I
not
have a
really
quick word
helpful.
with the constabulary in advance. They'll ignore the alarm if we get the questions wrong, so answer without fear.
There's no response from the door. Nothing unusual about it. Knock on the door.
Question 1. Who is it?
The great yokai, Nekomata in boots.
And the trusty travel guide, Pixie! Travel guide! Trusty travel guide!
Question 2. By which virtue did the ancients defeat the dragon?
Wisdom?
If this is the right answer, I swear I'll.
Correct.
What? A barefaced lie. So low.
Question 3. Which is more real? The fiction of the outside world or the truth of this world?
Hear, hear! Who can be sure that the outside world isn't just a dream? And that when the dreamer wakes up, they won't just find themselves inside a novel? There is no way to know, therefore both are equally real.
All correct. You may have the key pedestal.
Traveler Marquis, you know what must be done. Please insert the great clockwork key. Oh, and this is my family crest.
Okay. So I have to start here. Let's go so. All of the stuff.
Out of my way!
Nope, that's not what I mean. Sorry.
Do we really need this one?
No, we don't.
The Traveller Marquis draws a design that is practical and aesthetically pleasing in equal measure. One thing it is not, however, is correct. I think you should take another look at Bogarano's family crest and have another go. gonna try again?
Stand with me.
Are you, gonna try again?
The criteria for certificate exams are straightforward enough. What it really comes down to is whether you are willing to put in the time.
Are you, gonna try again?
You know what? I'm just gonna look it up because it's not really working. So I was doing it correct. No, why it wasn't working? No, listen, I was doing that and still wasn't. It wasn't working. It was like glitching out.
Now, let me see what.
What elaborate fiction the Clan of Wisdom was able to conjure up.
If anyone's listening, I would like to submit these as my last words. I surrender. I'm the one who murdered Cappy.
Wise Antonio, in the basement of the crumbling house, began reading an ancient book he had found. His old lamp shook from time to time as the swaying structure above ground collapsed. The village was to be symbolical, symbolicalized by the dragon, and he had been chosen by the dragon for he had not returned home. But but Antonio did not care. He only wished to study the book that the old lady had given him on the pledge he passed today. The book was titled Radiant Radiant Character, Radiant Character, and within was illustrated auto rules. I don't know what these things means. Rules that every being in Sri must follow. It was written in a language of the world's creation and the very start at the very start. And if Antonio was not possessed of extraordinary wisdom and deciphered this primordial text, there would have been no study to be had. This book recorded no solutions as to resolve the difficulty that constellation satellite lesson faced, nor did it contain any hexen that could aid Antonio in repairing his own home. But he knew the wisdom that was mightiest thing in the world. The morning light shone through the ruins of his old home. In the neighboring blacksmith, a chubby chef took a great pain to get rid of the house wreckage, which blockaded the basement hatch. With dark circles about his eyes, Antonio said to the chubby chief, I shall defeat the dragon. I will return soon. Alright, sure. Are you sure you're alright? You don't look like you got any sleep. Just smoke from the oil lamp. Don't worry about it. So smoking it's something that happens in the game. Good to know. The dragon sat atop a mountain. I mean, I should already know since Sumalu, but you know. The mountain and the threshers gazing down at significant little Antonio walking closer to the flames, gathered in his throat, preparing to burn the area on the centimeter before him. All the better to scare this pony through this glitcher way. Halt! I am qualified second class minister, Meister. The leading Galatia stated that should I refuse to do, you cannot use force. This restriction did indeed exist, and so the wicked dragon saw his flames whole. Ah, how it hit glad going to the toilet tomorrow. Antonio, for his part, had not expected the second class lush clearing minister qualification exam he had taken on that leg would come in useful. And since I'm the second class minister, I propose a duel of riddles. You cannot refuse. Now, Sri Lanka had just saw a law mainly for the benefit of sphinxes, old sages, and princesses who wish to take a life hard for others. The evil dragon had not expected the soul to catch up with it. I shall ask the first question. My house sold for 8,000 mola yesterday, but I thought there was room to raise the price, so I bought it back for 90,000, planning to sell it for 10,000. How much mola did I lose in the end? The dragon laughed in contempt. What's so hard about that? You have waited until it hit 10,000 to make your move, but you sold for 8 and bought for 9, so you lost 10 at 100,000 that you could have earned instead. Wrong. You burned my house down. Wrong. You burned my house down yesterday and I couldn't sell it in time, so I lost far more. Sorry, I mean, I do have to burn a house, and you happen to not be home, so I might as well. Be right now. Sorry, so I might as well hit one that doesn't result in any loss of life. Now that you have lost this contest, I have the right to loot of the same value as your life, minus one mola. And consider that you you have burned my house, I can seek damages. Let's assume that my house worth is one mola. Well then, wicked dragon, you know what to do with yourself. Please spare me, I will give you anything. Your words, not mine, Antonio said as he pulled out the contract he had written long ago. Thus, thus did Antonio Thus did Antonio use his wisdom to take all the evil dragon's treasure. Dragon devastated, would never again return to attack Constellation's satellite where Antonio lived. Many years later, a child asked Antonio, "You sold your place for 80,000 and spent 80,000 and spent 9,000 buying it back. So it looks like you actually did lose the 100,000 more. AA."
Look, my clan's history is true as well. There's that same unforgeable signature again, right here.
What? Oh, does this mean that my clan is the only odd one out?
No, all of you are correct.
Given that my clan's wisdom is such a subject of ridicule in your eyes, I will now appeal to my own personal intelligence, which I believe far surpasses that of my clan at large, and make a prediction. It seems likely that the claims made by each of our clans regarding their history and virtue are all true.
I really figured that out in the first time.
Oberano, how can that be?
Oh, I get what's going on. Once, when I was drinking with Gujiyai, she bet me a round of dried fish that I couldn't guess which cup the umeboshi was under. Whichever one I guessed, I was always wrong, and Gujiyai would lift a different cup to reveal the umeboshi. But then, I learned later from one of the shrine maidens, Miyuki, that all of the cups had an umeboshi under them. This goes to show, I still got a long way to go before I become a great yokai.
Oh, don't mind Fox Lady. That's just her way of teasing you.
Actually, that reminds me. We can now open these 3 treasure chests. And unlike the guessing game you mentioned, this one's not a trick.
Cool. Well, once you've plundered the last of Oberano's family wealth, we can go to my clan's place.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the...
Guess I'll take the clockwork key again then. Yoink!
Something with which to commemorate this occasion.
Okay.
Ah, something with which to commemorate this occasion.
The cohort of truth seekers followed Albizzi to his clan's sacred site. They arrived to the site of a giant guard towering over them.
Up ahead is my clan's gigantified guard. He can be a little pig-headed, and he's incredibly strong. Your weapons won't even scratch him.
Wait, but wasn't Kappe's clan the one that's all about strength? So, what do you guys believe in then?
Oh, the guard is one of Kappe's people. Size is a coveted trait in the clan of strength, after all. Mine is the clan of empathy, and our key contribution is growth serum.
What's empathetic about that?
Our ancestors believed that, just maybe, the dragon of old didn't mean us any harm at all. Perhaps the dragon simply didn't notice us, since we are so very tiny. So, they drank the growth serum and grew even larger than the dragon. Then, they set the dragon down, calmly explained their perspective, and eventually taught it how to empathize. The serum isn't what it once was, though. Nowadays, it doesn't make you grow all that much, and it actually makes you lose your empathy. So, I advise we take a detour.
Despite Albizzi's words of caution, somebody, no doubt, has other ideas. Surely we could avoid a conflict with the guard, they think to themselves, if we could just try to understand one another. You could, of course, just take the path to your left and go around. But some people are gluttons for punishment. It's all part of the experience, I suppose.
Sure.
Everyone, I have returned. I come with the long-awaited Marquis and their followers to search for the lost origins of our clan.
It's stuck. It's stuck.
Well, we weren't told anything about that this morning. Get out of here. Leave us alone.
Okay.
You and Albizzi only wanted to strike up a conversation with the guard. But since greeting you wasn't one of the items included in today's schedule, the relationship quickly soured. If you're just looking for a way in, why not consider taking the path on your left?
Which bed?
Children be up to. Never mind. them do as they please.
I'm just gonna go above because I don't know.
Determined, presumably, to always do what is right and never do what is not right, the Marquis refused to take the path on the left.
I don't know which one.
I guess that's one way of doing it. Well, an open world comes with open-ended problems after all.
I can't find the. I can't understand which bed I
Should
had
be
to
getting
take.
close.
Why is this place so full of junk? Are you the kind of people who never throw away the box when you buy something because you're worried you won't be able to return it without the original packaging? We'll never find the Oracle pillars in all this mess.
Never mind that. We have a more pressing issue. It seems there's a slight problem with my clan's family crest. The Marquis may need to utilize their wisdom to solve the issue.
Zo het gaat zo.
Wisdom too, huh? Well, you guys have a bit of everything, don't you? Except empathy.
Over here! I found it!
Yeah.
Yes! Keep the noise down! We don't want to alert the guard.
Yeah.
I'll go keep watch.
Apparently that was incorrect. But don't blame yourself, it's Albizi's clan's fault for taking terrible care of their family crest. How can they let something so important get so dirty? Apparently that was incorrect. But don't blame yourself, it's Albizi's clan's fault for taking terrible care of their family crest. How can they let something so important get so dirty? Apparently that was incorrect. But don't blame yourself, it's Albizi's clan's fault for taking terrible care of their family crest. How could they let something so important get so dirty? Apparently that was incorrect. But don't blame yourself, it's Albizi's clan's fault for taking terrible care of their family crest. How could they let something so important get so dirty?
Finally, done with these things first. I really don't like them.
This is the last one.
Galileo and Alberto did many good deeds against thee, so it was most tiring to help the old lady on the bridge move her barrels of hot apple cider. They each got a small barrel as their reward. The moonlight was obstructed and unobstructed and beautiful, and the two good friends climbed on the hill wall that had been built to, sta- built to stave the evil dragon off. About to lost the rock paper scissors match, so he had to hold the barrel of cider under the clock of his arm as they climbed the ladder. Look, this is the big house, that's all. Choppy Chief was so proud of. Don't look so big from doesn't look so big from here, huh? Say Alberto as he looked at the house. You're wrong, that's my house, said Galileo. The chief house is that one. Alberto's night vision was not all that good, and moonlight could never compare to daylight. If one were to close one's eyes, the light could not be seen at all. He tried a little harder, but could discern nothing more. But it's also really small, Galileo mentioned, so there is nothing wrong with your statement. Galileo and Alberto were both rather pleasant, perceptive, persistent, percep. I don't know what the English is escaping me. Galileo replied comfort for Alberto's discomfort regarding his poor vision. But Alberto also lost the rock paper scissors match on purpose so he could carry the cider barrel because the girl on the Galileo's lips were injured. Here you go. Two friends raised a toast. Once Alberto stuffed a cloak back into the barrel. The next day, the two gathered everyone in the village plaza. First, they apologized for the collapse of the ancient dragon wall and told all people that they were preparing to talk with the evil dragon. I know it was a lot of work for everyone to fix that wall, but we were not that fuss about it anyway. The deputy said, but are you sure you are not bragging when you say you knocked it down yourself? Of course, that was not the chief's point. He too was a good person. He continued. Also, it's too dangerous to seek the dragon out. Don't worry about us. And so the two best friends in the whole world departed. The evil dragon trampled before Alberto and Galileo. For some reason, the old lady liquor could make people large, very, very large. That was how they accidentally squashed the high wall the previous night. As he gazed down at the ground far below, they more or less understood how the dragon thought. No wonder he could accidentally destroy the fish at his feet. So as long as they could get the dragon to notice people, they could surely come to an understanding. Two friends trusting out the remaining magic cycle, becoming even larger than the dragon by a good minute. Reeking of alcohol, they sandwiched the dragon beneath them. Drunkard tries to replenish with it. The dragon livered up in terror. Elle had Misty and felt an aura for Leprechaun. Indeed, it even looked kind of pitiful. Alberto attempted to pick dirt off the scales on the tracker's back, but wound up picking off an entire scale. The dragon sought to flee, but Alberto feared that the crisis might persist for 10,000 years more if the misunderstanding was not cleared up. Tucking its tail and taking it right back. To be honest, we all always lived under your feet, but we are far too small, so you may not have ever seen us. Now we are transformed and become big, Hiccup said. So now, surely you must know that we will dwell at your feet. The dragon nodded repeatedly and trusted the two and the dragon jet on